Today I'm going to be covering event-based notifications with OneSignal. My name is William Shepard. I am a developer advocate at OneSignal. My background is actually in computer science, and I've been a software engineer for over a decade now. I've been programming for over 20 years, and I'm fairly passionate about product, which is kind of how I got into developer advocacy. So we're going to be talking about event-based notifications. So what are they? Event-based notifications are any notification that are automatically emitted as a result of some meaningful event occurring. Meaningful can take on many different shapes or forms. In our case, in this demo, it's going to be how many times the user has clicked on a specific button. So what are some of the use cases? The most popular use case is likely going to be the abandoned cart use case, and that's where a person has put some items in their shopping cart. Maybe they go off to another page, and then you want to make sure that they actually buy the items that are in their cart. So you can send a notification. Another fairly common one is new user onboarding, and that's the use case where you have a person who signs up for your new application and you want to ensure that they get onboarded. So as a result of them going through all of the onboard steps, you can send a notification if they've completed that, or send another notification if they haven't completed that and you need them to complete it in order to make use of your app or service. We also have accomplishments, and this is if a user hits some type of milestone. And the final one is an alert, which is what I'm going to be demonstrating. And this is just some event has occurred and you want to notify the user that that event has occurred. So what are some of the building blocks that we're going to need in order to enable this? First thing is we're going to be using segments. Segments are a way to group a lot of users based on some common attribute. We do emit an event every time a user moves into a particular segment, and we're going to be taking advantage of that. The next thing we're going to need is message automation, and this is simply the ability to automatically send a message based on some event occurring, hence event-based notifications. The final thing is templates. We want to make sure that we can send something to the user, and we don't want to have to write something every time. So we create either a push or an email template in order to kind of have a generic message that we can then substitute out all of the data values that we want to put in for that particular user, which will result in a customized message. In this demo, we're going to be going over push templates. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into a demo. This is pre-recorded, so just go ahead and get started. In this demo, I'm going to be going over how to enable event-based notifications so that you can send a notification based off of some event occurring. Let me give you an example. I'm going to click this a few times, about 7 times. 1, 2, 3. I have some help here, so I'm going to consult my help because I can't count. 4, 5, 6, 7, and one more for good measure because I can't count sometimes. All right, so what should happen is at some point very soon, I'm going to get a notification, assuming that I've subscribed, which I am. And we'll go ahead and wait for that because sometimes it takes a few seconds for it to appear. Hopefully I won't be waiting for too long. Okay. I hope there's just some deliverability issue where it's going to take a few more moments. So I'm just going to move forward with the setup, and we'll trust that it'll come eventually. So in order to enable this, if you already have an app created, you'll kind of be where I am. If you don't, you'll create a new app. I'm using a web custom code implementation of OneSignal. And I'll kind of show that off right now by coming over to the settings so I can show you how this is configured. So as you can see, I'm using web push for all browsers, and I'm using this custom code here. And I've given it my site a name. I've given the site URL, which is the URL that is hosted on my local machine right now. And I selected this to enable local testing because I'm not proxying through HTTPS right now. And these notifications need to have HTTPS enabled to work. This is a way to get around that limitation. This will only work on your development machine, it won't work out in the wild. So just keep that in mind. Oh, there we are. It came. I hope y'all can see that. It came. If I click it, I think it's going to take me to one signal. Yes, it does. Perfect. So that's what this demo is going to be about, is how to enable something like that, where I clicked the button a few times, and after it got to a specific count, a notification was pushed. So in this case, the event is someone clicked the button for the 7th time. So let's go over how we're actually going to enable that after we have our app. So I'm just going to come back to my dashboard and go back into the application. And we're going to start off by creating a message that we want to send. So I'm going to click Messages. I'm going to go to Templates. I already have one of these. I'm just going to make a new one. I created one called 7th Click. What I'm instead going to do is create one called 10th Click because I've already clicked this 7 times now. So we'll do a new push and we'll say 10th Click. And the message is going to be, wow, you've clicked that button a lot. Here's to 10 more clicks. And I need to route them somewhere. Oh, we don't really have to, but I want to route them somewhere. I'm going to use, what's a good site to use? Let's just use Google. That's one that comes top of mind. Actually, no, I'm going to use GitHub. I prefer GitHub. And we'll go to my profile. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Obviously, if you need to, you can input the rest of the settings that pertains to you. But for the case of this demo, I'm going to skip all of these because I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. Go ahead and click Save. And we now have a new message template called 10th Click. So now that we have this template, I now need some way of sending this once some event happens. And there are 2 pieces that I need in order to make that happen. The first piece is a segment. I want to push a notification once this user enters a particular segment. To do that, I'm going to go to Audiences. And as you can see here, I already have a segment called 7 clicks. I'm just going to create another one called 10 clicks. But before I do that, I'm going to edit this just to make sure that we only get one. And I'm going to say we're going to only do this if the clicks is, let's see. Yeah, we'll keep this at greater than 7. And we'll create a new segment and we'll call this 10 clicks. I'm going to come down to user tag. And the key that I'm looking for is clicks. Where's that key coming from? Well, I have here the code that enables this. I don't want to go too far in the details in this because I'm not sure what the experience level of the audience is. But I will kind of focus in on here. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all of the tags. These are the data tags that are stored on a user. Let me show you what that looks like before we continue this. So we'll come to all users and you'll see that I have one user and over here I have these tags, and let me hide most of this because we don't need most of it right now. We don't really care about most of this. We'll click apply. That way it's a little bit easier to read. So right now we have some data it's under a property called tags. When I call this get tags here, what's happening is OneSignal is returning this object right here. It's like a straight up JSON object. Once I get that object, I'm plucking out clicks. Now, obviously, this property will not exist in tags for a user who is just created. So as a result of that, I'm checking to see if clicks is even defined. If it's undefined, then I'm going to set updated clicks to 1. Otherwise, if it is defined, I'm going to parse this because it's a string. I'm going to parse that string as an integer in base 10, and I'm going to store that in a variable called updated clicks. The final step to this is the send tags. This is how I can send additional tags or update existing tags. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the existing tags right here, and I am spreading these inside of this object. The syntax accepts an object, which are the tags. So I'm literally just copying everything that's in tags and placing it into syntax. And maybe zoom in a little bit. I just realized that maybe it will be a little bit harder to see. And I will also get rid of this because it's not really useful right now. So after I copy these tags, there's no click. Remember, this could be an empty object. So because of that, I'm going to add clicks here, and I'm going to set it equal to this updated clicks. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if clicks is defined, clicks will be set here, and then I'm going to immediately override it with updated clicks, which, as you see, I'm doing a little bit of math here. All right, and once I send those tags off, the new data is updated. So that's where the tags are coming from in this segment. So what I'm looking for is specifically this tag. Where is it? Clicks. I'm specifically looking for clicks. So I'm going to make sure, yep. All right, so I'm going to come to user tag. I'm going to type in clicks. And I'm going to say greater than 10. So there shouldn't be any users in this, so I'll do 11. All right, well, we'll just do 10 and we'll accept it. Oops, I forgot to name it. So we want to call this 10 clicks. Perfect. And there are no users in it. I'm not sure what happened there, but we shouldn't have any users because if I come to all users, the only user that I have only has 8 clicks. All right. So now that we have the segment created, which is a user will move in and out of segments, we can actually take advantage of the fact that we can kick off events based off of someone moving into a segment, which in itself is an event. To do that, I'm going to come on over to messages, and I'm going to use this automated message here. But before I do that, I need to create a template. I may have already created the template. Yeah, I did. Yes, perfect. So we have the 10th click, and because we already have that template, I can come on over to automated, and I'm going to do a new automated push. As you see, I already have one called 7 clicks. I'm going to create another one called 10 clicks. And I want to make sure that I select send to particular segments. And I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. And I want to include 10 clicks here. And the template I want to use is going to be called 10 clicks. And I want these to get delivered immediately. As you all have seen, immediately it could take a few moments, 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't take too long. But I'm going to go ahead and make this active. And I now know that I have 10 clicks, so if I were to click this 2 more times, I should get a message eventually. So let's go ahead and do that. That's 1 click, so I'm at 9. And this is 10 clicks, so I'm at 10, I think, if I can count. I see. So it looks like I can quite never get to 10. This may be some issue in my logic. Let's make sure. Well, apparently I can't get to 10, so I'm going to edit this to make it 9 clicks, just so we can see this work. This is likely a bug in my demo code. I'm imagining it's here, but I really don't know, to be honest. So we'll come back on over to audiences, and I'm going to change this from 10 clicks to 9 clicks. And we'll just say 9. Or 8. So there should be a user in there. Yep, so I'm at 9. And if I come back over to my segments, yep, I have a person in that segment. Okay, so I haven't had any of these sent yet. Let's see if there's any scheduled, because I just moved a person into that segment. So we should be getting a notification fairly soon. I'll click this just one more time. Not sure what that's about. Wow, okay, it's 10 now, so that's good. We will get a notification at some point very soon. As you all hopefully remember from my first notification, it took a few moments for it to come. While that goes, I'm going to go back over to messages and come back over to automated. There's one thing that I kind of glossed over that I think is worthwhile talking about. And it's these right here, deliver to users more than once. So this is useful because, say for instance, you are doing like a new user workflow. Well, new users can be a new user more than once. The way that happens, if someone uses your application, they sign up, they decide they don't want to use it anymore, they close their account, they delete the application. Well, if they then decide that they want to use your app again, they're going to create another account and redo all of the stuff. We want to make sure that we capture those, so we'll just click that. All right, and now that it seems that my logic is working the way that I expected, I'm going to come back here and make this greater than 10 again, just so that it's back to the 10 clicks, and I should probably rename that to 10 clicks. Okay, come to my users. So I do have 10. So if everything goes well, if I can add, if I can do the math, then I'll get to 11 and I should get a notification. All right, so we're at 11 and let's wait for the notification. Okay, I'm back and I have this notification. It took a few more moments. As you can see, if you're eagle-eyed, you'll notice that the time is a little bit different. So this is just a quick overview of how to enable event-based notifications. You can go a lot further than I did with this. I'm doing the simplest thing possible for the sake of demo, but obviously you can be a little bit more nuanced in how you are sending your messages. I'm using only push notifications in the browser. You can also add in email notifications as well as push notifications to a device. All of these are enabled with segments and automated messages and templates. So if you put all those together and you do your logic the right way, you can actually have notifications that are sent out as a result of some user emitting some type of event. In this case, it was the 7 clicks event and the 10 clicks event. And just to do a recap of the code, in order to enable this, I'm getting all of the tags because this is where I can store unstructured data essentially. And I'm parsing out or plucking out one of the properties called clicks. I'm then checking to see if clicks is undefined. If it is, I set it equal to 1. This is the case where this is a brand new user. If it isn't, I parse it to get a number so I can do math on it and add 1 to it. Once I do that, I then copy over all the tags that I've received, and then I overwrite clicks with the value stored in updated clicks. At that point, I now have OneSignal doing all of the heavy lifting for me. So OneSignal is adding the people to the segment, and then it's also automating that message push using the template that I created. So there will be a sample app, like a more fully featured sample app that I'll release a little bit later. But for now, this does it. All right, so I'm not sure what happened with my mic. Apparently wasn't working. But this is an opportunity for whoever's here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be around for a few more minutes to see if anyone bites. All right, so I do have a question. I'm going to read it. Did the push notification example not work at first because you set greater than 10 instead of greater than 9 for the 10th click notification? The answer to that is no. Turns out I was having technical difficulties with my app. It wasn't reachable. So I did a little digging and things resolved itself. Does that answer your question? All right, I'm getting some feedback that people cannot hear me. Okay. All right. Yeah, someone said that they can hear me good now. All right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But yes, Scott, the answer to your question is no. It had nothing to do with my logic. It was in fact I wasn't able to reach the site. For 10th click, would the logic be less than 9 or greater than or equal to 10? I'm sorry, greater than 9 or greater than or equal to 10. In my mind, those are the same thing. Greater than 9 is 10, so it's greater than or equal to 10. That's also 10. They both mean the same thing. Paul Lipsum, he said, is that one person clicking that many times? So I did that just to drive home a point that it is based off of hitting some completion event. I'm using that mostly for demo purposes. I would expect no one to click that many times. But if you really think about it, if you're going through an onboard like user workflow, a user may actually click up to 4 or 5 times. It just may be on different pages. And like moving all your mouse, there could be 10 interactions. So it's not that far-fetched. Yeah, keep them coming. I like questions. I prefer that to talking to myself at a screen like I'm doing now. Can I get resources? Sure. I am in the middle of writing a blog post on this very topic, and there's also a sample app that I'll be releasing at a later date. If you are part of this webinar, I think that we can have an email sent out to you when that's released. But a lot of this stuff can be found in our user documentation, although you had to like put all the pieces together. I would just wait on when I release these other resources so that you can use that instead. No worries. Appreciate it. All right. Any more questions? I like to keep them coming. Like, I'm not afraid of questions. Or maybe y'all are afraid of asking questions. That's okay. You can still ask them anyways. I won't hurt you. All right, we have another question. Are events mostly button clicks or can they be page views? Yes, they can be page views. They could be anything. I arbitrarily selected button clicks because that was the simplest thing to demonstrate on a demo like this, where you can see me or at least hear me clicking, hopefully. Whereas a page view, it's a little bit more work on my end because I would have to like click on a page and then go to the page and then go back and forth, which could be a little bit confusing. But yes, the answer to your question is yes, you can use page views. You can use any like attribute you like. So it could be something like, did the person watch a full video? You can actually take that information and do something with that. Hopefully that answers your question. Cool. All right, good. Okay, so we only have a couple more minutes. I don't see any, oh, someone just came in. All right. All right, so it's a statement, and this will auto-generate an email or something of the source to the user. Yes, we can have this either generate an email or do a push notification, either to your browser or to a device. And we may actually be able to go a step further and do like an in-app message based off of an event happening. So in this demo, I'm doing a push notification because I can show you a push fairly easily. I don't want to just show all y'all my email like that. I don't know y'all like that. Sorry. But yes, this could be email push notification to browser or device. So hopefully, I just confirmed what Paul was saying. I don't know if y'all can see that, but he mentioned that it would then do some other stuff. So we only have about a minute left, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude this. Let's go back to my presentation. So I want to thank you all for joining. I know that y'all are busy, and 30 minutes is a lot to ask sometimes. So thank you for joining. Hopefully, you learned something useful from this, and be on the lookout for the additional resources that I'll be publishing sometime in the future. Thank you.